my queen, my queen. Oh, she, oh, she. Beautiful, wonderfully made. She's heaven's angel. So strong, even in struggle, yeah. When life comes like a storm from every angle, she rises above it all, the backbone of every home. Nothing compares to all she do. The true meaning of every family. She's the glue. Malcolm and Obama, yeah, and Jesus too. Oh, she's sophisticated, strong, simply amazing, humble, honest, and helpful, educated, ebony, eccentric, empowering. She's a queen, she's a queen. Better treat her like a queen. Oh, oh, Her strength is amazing. Life inside, 9 months she's carrying. Back to work, 'cause the family she's carrying. Society don't give her just due, but she prevails and stands tall. A champion, a true woman. But nothing compares to all she do. Yeah, the true meaning of every family. She's the glue. Yeah, oh. Where would we be without you? You brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama, and Jesus too. Oh, she is sophisticated, strong, yeah, simply amazing, humble, honest, and helpful. Not only that you are educated, yes you are, eccentric, empowering. You're my, she's a queen. You're my, you're my.
Hello and welcome to Let's Talk with Bishop R.C. Blakes. R.C. is an author, empowerment teacher, and the proud pastor of the New Home Ministries of New Orleans, Louisiana, and Houston, Texas. His message circles the globe. His conversational and candid approach to challenging content makes him a relevant voice to all generations. Get ready for a life-changing transformational conversation.
We have a great conversation that I want to have with you tonight, my beloved community. I want to have this conversation with you tonight. Why do relationships fail? You know, I want to say this. First of all, I'm no relationship guru. I'm no relationship coach. Some say, well, I'm in the relationship space. That's not really by choice. People just tend to ask me more questions about relationships than anything else. And I guess because there's some proof of concept, you know, I do have a successful relationship, marriage for 29 years. I guess that piques people's interest as well. Now, the strange thing that I have discovered while being in the relationship space is that the people who do not have a relationship are usually the ones that are the most vocal. You have no proof of the concept you're presenting, but you know everything about it. And so there are things that I present to this generation and I get a lot of pushback, which sometimes makes me want to say, have at it. But then there are those that are sincerely listening for some measure of wisdom, some measure of insight that might be helpful in terms of their developing a healthy relationship at this point in their lives or at some point in the future. And so for that reason, I stay encouraged to continue on this journey, but I cannot lie to you and tell you that it is always easy. It is of late become quite difficult for me because I have discovered that we have such a feminine generation of men. When you have a feminine generation of men, there's not really a great foundation to build relationships on, because if you look in the Bible, the first relationship between a man and a woman started on the foundation of a strong man. He had to be everything he needed to be for Eve to even exist. God pulled Eve out of his side. He was so whole and complete that he contained his own wife. This generation of men, not all, because there are some amazing kings that I am connecting with and developing relationships with. But when I look at a large portion of this generation of young men and even older men, it's quite sad to see how a lot of these guys, between their ears is nothing but estrogen. They look like men on the outside. We used to call them little boys, but they're so feminized now. It's unbelievable. But I'll put that aside. I'll talk about that like I really want to talk about that at some point in the future. But why are relationships failing? Number one, relationships, if you have a relationship that is not working and your relationship is failing, there is a lot of times, in many cases, a lack of integrity. In other words, relationships fail when people lie, when people misrepresent the truth. It's not always necessarily that you just told an untruth, but you didn't tell all the truth. You enter into a relationship with a person, um, them having a false assumption that you are this, you can do this, you can show up like this, when you knew very well that you were not this, you could not do this, and you could not show up like this, but yet you painted that picture. You lacked integrity. You made somebody believe that you had the resources, that you had broken all of your soul ties, and it's when people have opened their heart and become vulnerable to you that they discover you lied, that you really weren't completely finished with your ex, and that you weren't really over your ex, or that you really don't make X amount of dollars, and now we got to figure out how we're going to struggle, to do X, Y, and or Z. That you really not saved like you projected just because you came to church and you lifted your hands and said hallelujah. Somebody believed that you were, actually saved, and you really don't love God. Relationships will always fail when people lack integrity. Lack of integrity, including dishonesty and untrustworthiness, will erode the foundation of any relationship. When partners are not true to their word or their values, you projected to have family values, you projected that you wanted to be a wife, but you really want to run with your single girlfriends through the clubs. You projected that you wanted to be a husband, but you really want somebody to take care of you. When people are not true to their word and people fall short of the values they projected to have, it will lead to a breakdown in something that is fundamental to any relationship. Trust. When your partner catches you in a lie, be it by omission or commission, it takes a long time to rebuild the trust. And they have to first of all figure out if this so-called relationship is even worthy of attempting to rebuild the trust. If I can get couples to just tell the truth, number one, you should not get into a relationship with anybody if you don't have your life in order. You ought not have a truth that is so devastating that you can't share it. You know what I mean? You ought not be out here sleeping with somebody else, and if that's your truth, you need to speak that one as well. Because it's better to go on and be honest, grow up, mature, be honest, and deal with it. And whatever the repercussions are, they are, and straighten your life out from that point moving forward. But you ought to, hopefully, if you're in a relationship, you ought to be beyond those kinds of issues when we talk about being able to tell the truth. You got to have integrity if you're going to be in a relationship, because your partner has to be able to trust you if your partner is going to be able to relax in the relationship. A man that does not trust his woman is never relaxed in the relationship. A woman that does not trust the man is never relaxed in the relationship. And the only way to get your partner to a place where they can relax in the relationship is for you to have a character that speaks of integrity, that they can believe that you are what you're projecting, and that if you said it, it is as you speak. Not a situation where they gotta, wonder, ooh, well, I don't know. I don't know. I'm feeling it out. Your partner got to say stuff like that. It means that either, to be fair, it could mean that they have not overcome, they've not healed from a lot of things from their past. But in a lot of instances, it's due to the fact that you have not lived a life of integrity before your or with your partner. Proverbs 11:3 in the New International Version reads like this: "The integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity." The integrity of the upright guides them. When you are a person of integrity, it guides your life consistently. But when you lack integrity, you'll be destroyed because of your lack of integrity. Now, it was Oprah that actually said, and this is a powerful quote, she said, "Real integrity is doing the right thing, knowing that nobody's going to know whether you did it or not." Doing the right thing, you know that you are a person of integrity when you do the right thing, if nobody else in the world will know the difference. If you're a faithful husband, be a faithful husband in the presence of your wife, in the absence of your wife. You're a faithful husband, be a faithful husband in the United States of America where you may live. Be a faithful husband in Africa. Be a faithful husband in Europe, Australia, Asia. Be a faithful husband everywhere you go. When nobody can see you, when nobody can acknowledge, that is when you know you are a person of integrity. And I can tell you, it is far better, excuse me for kicking my camera, am I doing it right? It is far better to live a life of integrity than to live a life of duplicity, as the Bible calls it, where you shaky, you iffy, you're shady. Because when you live a life of integrity, you can go to sleep at night. You ain't got to worry about what you're going to say in your sleep. When you live a life of integrity, you can walk the streets. You ain't got to worry about who's going to run up on you and say, "I saw you. I heard you. I got a video of you. I got a recording of you." And when you live a life of integrity, what it does is it enhances the trust your partner has for you. And it also enhances, watch this, the respect your partner has for you. If you've not been a person of integrity, you should not be around here beating your chest talking about respect. You got to learn to respect yourself first. And, you should be thankful that somebody's still out here trying to deal with you when you know you live in a raggedy life, right? And I'm not just talking to brothers there, because we got women that are living some very raggedy lives, and there are some good brothers that are being patient with their raggedy living wives. It's not always men. Most of the time it's us, but it ain't always us. Praise the Lord. So some of the things that you gotta consider is, to correct this, you should strive to be honest, and you should strive to be trustworthy. Keep your promises. Don't do anything out of your partner's presence that you wouldn't do in their presence. Align your actions with your values. Align your actions with your values. And if you live like this, you will live a life of integrity that will put your partner in a position where they can trust you and respect you. So the number one reason that relationships are failing is because of a lack of integrity. The second reason that relationships are failing is because people are, it's just selfish people, childish, selfish people. We got childish, selfish men, and we have childish, selfish women that don't understand that the whole concept of a relationship is based on giving, not taking. You got to show up in a relationship where you have a mind to do your part, and the only part you can do is your part. You can't do your partner's part. You have to show up with a mind to be the best wife, or to be the best husband, be the best girlfriend, be the best boyfriend you can be. You can't worry about, reciprocation. Is he doing? I'm waiting for him to be to me when I need. Sometimes, and let me speak directly to men, we have to be the husband that our wives need us to be, to empower them to be. We have to be the husband that our wives need us to be, to empower our wives to be the wives we need them to be. Sometimes the Bible says that a husband is won to the Lord by the behavior of the wife. So if you are not beyond selfishness, you've barked up the wrong tree when you start thinking about this thing called relationships. Relationships, especially marriage, relationships are not for immature people that have not overcome selfishness. Because selfishness will always hinder a relationship by causing one or both parties to prioritize their own needs and desires over the well-being of the relationship. It leads to, ultimately, resentment, imbalance, a lack of fulfillment, and a lack of compromise when people are selfish. A lot of the reason that I just don't really do too much, marital counseling anymore, can I just be honest with you, is it's of course due to my schedule. I'm doing a lot, you know, but a lot of the reason that I don't do marital counseling is because most of the folk that are married are selfish, and you can't get them to see beyond themselves. And so you get locked up in a room with these two childish people, and all he talking about is his stuff, and all she talking about is her stuff, and you can't get anybody to see that the only way to fix this marriage is for you, lady, to concern yourself with being the best wife, and you, sir, to concern yourself with being the best husband. Instead of sitting here for another hour telling me about how she don't give you sex, and you sitting over here telling me about, how he ain't trying to make enough money. Why don't you answer my question? Where are you missing it at, madam? You done went all the way off the rails on that. You done forgot all about the fact that you supposed to be married and you running the street with your single friends 3 times a week. You ain't cooking nothing, you ain't cleaning nothing. And then he over here, sir, where did you miss it at with being a husband? You done forgot all about the fact that you on the PlayStation. You a grown man on the PlayStation for 6, 7, and 8 hours, that you could have had another job and these bills backed up in this house. And you out here running with your boys, coming in drunk, smelling like marijuana and all this kind of stuff. If I can't get you off of selfishness, I will never get you to a place where you can actually facilitate a healthy and productive relationship. Philippians chapter 2 and verse 4 says, Let each of you look not only to his own interest, but also to the interest of others. Here's a famous quote by a gentleman by the name of Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde says, selfishness is not living as one wishes to live. It is asking others to live as one wishes to live. It is your imposing your childish desires on everybody around you. Now, here's some action steps. Partners should practice empathy. Do you know what that is? Empathy is your intentionally putting yourself in your partner's shoes and feeling where they're coming from. That's empathy. Partners should practice empathy, compromise. That's where it doesn't always have to be your way, and consider the needs of the relationship as a whole rather than just their individual desires. I recently had I did a podcast. I won't name it. Well, I'll name it. I did a podcast on Hardly Initiated. I love those two gentlemen. Those two young men are really, really moving in the right direction as far as I'm concerned, as far as I can see. And man, I made a statement that a grown man should always have a mind to be 100% provider for his wife. And I also went on to say that it doesn't always mean that he'll have the means at the time to be 100% provider, but he should have the mindset to be 100% provider. And man, you should read some of the stuff some of these feminine men in this generation were writing. Now these same men that don't even want to show up to a relationship with a woman with a mindset to be 100% provider. I ain't say you got to have the bank yet, you got to have the bag yet, but you should have the mindset. My wife had to help me out in the beginning, but I always had the mindset. These same guys who don't even want to show up with a mindset to be 100% provider are going to want this woman to have 100% of the babies. They're going to want this woman to provide sex 100% of the time to meet their sexual demands. They're going to want this woman to keep the house and all of these other things together. Selfishness, not willing to, okay, let me leave that alone. This just kind of got under my skin, I guess y'all can see. The third reason that relationships are failing is due to group thinking. Group thinking. In other words, you as a woman, you're not thinking for yourself. You're allowing your friends, your mama, who's never been able to keep a man, your mama couldn't even keep your daddy, to tell you what to do in your relationship. Mama ain't never had no man more than 6 months. The girlfriends you running up and down the street with, they ain't got no man. And now here you got a man, you gonna let these women that can't spell man on a billboard sign, you gonna let them tell you what to do with your man? You gonna let a bunch of single men tell you? You gonna go to the barber shop to get marital counseling, relationship counseling, group thinking? You just falling in line with the group, with the culture. There's no personal thinking. There's no personal thought. There's no original idea in you. You just fall in line with the group. Group thinking in relationships can occur when outside influences or peer pressure have a significant impact on decision making within the relationship, often to the detriment of the couple's own values and goals. The way you run your house is not going to be entirely how your mom and your dad ran their house. Mm-mm. Though I learned everything I know from my father and from my mother, the way Lisa and I run our house is different than the way they ran theirs because we are individuals. It's like fingerprints. Every relationship is like a fingerprint. No two fingerprints are the same. At least that's what they say, you know. And so every relationship has its own dynamic, has its own chemistry. And if you're a person that's out here trying to function in a relationship based on group concepts, you're going to always fail because the group is getting divorced. The group can't find a man. The group can't find a good woman. This is why the Bible says in Romans 12:2 in the English Standard Version, it says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." Don't be conformed. Don't allow the world to squeeze you into its ideas, but rather be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Allow your mind to expand. Take on a growth mindset. Don't go outside looking at the world and what the world around you says you're supposed to be doing. Go inside. Listen to what God is saying. Listen to your significant other. Develop your own approach to relationships based on the two individuals, not a group. Frederick, I always have a problem calling his name or pronouncing his name, Nietzsche. I guess that's my best attempt at it. He said the individual has always had to struggle. Listen to this very carefully. The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you will be lonely often and sometimes frightened. But no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. Man, that's shout material right there. Let me read it for you one more time. It was so good. He says the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you will be lonely often and sometimes frightened, but no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. And if you don't own your thoughts, you don't own yourself. So couples should actively communicate, eliminate other voices from speaking into your relationship, and make decisions based on your shared values and goals rather than succumbing to external pressures like the culture. Number 4, I think I only have 6. Fourth reason that relationships are flunking, failing, is because of emotional ignorance. You know, there's this thing called emotional intelligence. Well, the reverse of that is emotional ignorance, where you're so clueless relative to um, how to read the room, how to understand where a person is and what a person needs in the moment emotionally, that you dismantle every relationship you have, and then you blame it on the world. You've had 15 relationships in the last 24 months, and it's always somebody else's fault. The reality is you are emotionally ignorant. You say the wrong things at the wrong time. You have a pitiful attitude. Your energy is negative. You've not really healed from the trauma of your past, and it's constantly showing up in your relationships, squandering opportunities to produce the kind of future you desire to have. This doesn't only happen in your romantic relationships. You struggle in your workplace relationships. You struggle in your relationships in your family. You struggle in relationships with your friends because nobody's ever sat you down to tell you in these terms. You are emotionally ignorant. You don't know when people are hurting. You don't know when to be quiet. Emotional ignorance refers to a lack of awareness, understanding, and acknowledgement of one's own and their partner's emotions. This can lead to misunderstandings, communication breakdowns, and unresolved conflicts. You got to learn to feel what you feel and don't just let it come out as a reaction, but sit with it for a minute. Ask yourself, now, what is this I'm feeling? Why do I have the unction to say this or to have this kind of an attitude? Why do I want to manipulate and take control of things right now? And come up with an answer, and then reframe that thing and redirect yourself. That's emotional intelligence, understanding who you are, and then stepping outside of yourself and now asking yourself, now, what does my partner need in this moment? Do they need that kind of buffoonery I was just getting ready to present to them? Or do they need the total opposite of that? Understand yourself. When you understand yourself, you'll develop the capacity to begin to understand others. This is why James 1:19 says, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. Swift to hear, that's emotional intelligence. When you're quick to speak, you're emotionally ignorant. You haven't taken the time to know yourself, to know what kind of energy you're sitting in, what kind of bag you're coming out of, and you've definitely not taken the time to analyze what is it that my partner needs in this moment. So you're selfish, and you're clueless, and you're a bull in a china shop, and you're disruptive, and you're hurting a whole lot of people because of emotional ignorance. So both partners should work on emotional intelligence. Actively listen to each other. Express your feelings openly without fear of, being ridiculed or rebuked. Express your feelings openly and seek to understand and validate each other's emotions. And watch this. You don't even necessarily have to always understand your partner's emotions, but you have to validate. You may not understand why they feel what they feel, but you have to be a person that is intelligent enough to say, I acknowledge that you're feeling what you're feeling, and I hear you and I see you. Right? I hear you. I see you. I feel you. And however I can help you, I'm willing to do that. Now, number 5. Oh, wow. Here's a good one right here. Why are relationships failing? Unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations can set couples up for disappointment and dissatisfaction. When I expected that you would be this, who was it that said, and can I remember how it was said? Said that women marry a man thinking that I will certainly change him. Men marry a woman thinking she will never change, and both are a lie. You cannot change him, and she will certainly change. So if you have the expectation, if your entire approach to your relationship with your lady is based on her having a 36, 24, 36 at 25 years old, 30 years old, whatever. In some cases, some rare cases, that is true when she's 40, 50, 60, 70, maybe even. But in most cases, that's not going to be true. And if your expectation is that she's going to be the same size at 50 that she was at 25, you're going to be disappointed. If your expectation as a woman is that you're going to change your man and you know, I'm going to marry him and then I'm going to change him, people don't usually change for the better when we get married. They really don't. People usually go in the opposite direction. You know, so whatever idiosyncrasies about a person that you don't like that's revealed to you while you're dating, or when you get married, you're gonna see, you're gonna see the whole mother load. You're gonna see the whole mother load. And people are who they are. You got to learn to love a person based on who they are and not based on your unrealistic expectations. Because when one or both partners expect perfection or realistically high standards, it can lead to frustration. It definitely leads to frustration. And it always leads to resentment when those expectations are not met. And so your problem is that you had unrealistic expectations. You didn't really marry this person or love this person for who they were. You loved them for what you thought you were going to turn them into. You had your Frankenstein situation working out right there. And the Bible says in 1 Corinthians 13:4 in the New International Version, it says, love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud, but it is what? Patient and kind. It doesn't have unrealistic expectations. It allows for your partner to be human. They don't have to be perfect. You're not jumping down their throat about every, word they mispronounced or, they didn't say it the right way. Audrey Hepburn said, the best thing to hold on to in life is each other. Because you know what? Let me tell you something. Your spouse, your significant other may not be perfect. They may not measure up to these unrealistic standards that you have for them. You know what? You don't measure up to those standards either. It's amazing to me how quite often we have standards for other people that we can't even reach. Isn't that crazy? You have a standard for me that you can't reach. I have a standard for you that I can't reach. The same person that you having all of these problems with and you complaining about all day long, every day, they not this and they're not that, and they should do this and they should do that. Let the police call you and say, well, is this Mrs. So-and-so? Is this Mr. So-and-so? I don't want to alarm you, but Mr. So-and-so or Mrs. So-and-so was in a horrible accident, and I have bad news. Y'all better stop tripping, man. Better stop tripping with all of these unrealistic expectations that, are not even human. You have expectations of this person to be something other than human. Couples should openly discuss their expectations, be willing to compromise, and strive for realistic, mutually agreed upon goals and standards. Now, that's not a conversation you're supposed to have after a wedding. If you're already married, you should have this conversation to just clear the air and get back to a place where we can at least develop some kind of understanding. But you should have this conversation before marrying a person where you openly discuss your expectations. What do you expect? Don't marry a man and you financing everything and he's sitting around playing the PlayStation and a wife beater eating cereal out of cake mixing bowl the whole while y'all dating, and then you get married and now you want to throw on the table, you have expectation for him to be a real man and get a job. Well, that ain't what you promoted the whole 3 years y'all dated. You played mama for 3 years. Now you want to be wife? You want him to be a husband? He been your son for the last 3 years. Huh? Don't come up after the marriage and throw some wild expectation on the table for your wife. Put those expectations on the table. Like even in terms of Christian couples that are trying to stay abstinent before marriage. Well, you know what? Even in the process of staying abstinent, you know what? Can I just say this? Can I say this without getting in trouble? Even in your staying abstinent, you have an idea about what your sex drive going to be like. You have thoughts about things that you fantasize about, you think you want to try. Well, you know what? You should probably have a very grown person conversation before the marriage relative to what you think your sexual appetite is going to be like after you get married. Person shouldn't marry you and then discover that you want sex 4 times a day as a man or even as a woman, because it's easier for women. Well, let me leave that alone. But a person shouldn't discover that you have that kind of appetite after marriage. Those are the kinds of things you should discuss. Put the expectations on the table. Openly discuss your expectations. Be willing to compromise. Strive for realistic, mutually agreed upon goals and standards. I know I got in trouble on the last couple of minutes, but I've been in trouble before. Number 6, and I am done. Why are relationships flunking? Why are relationships failing? There's a failure to support masculine and feminine energy. The energy is off. The energy is off. That's why your relationships are not working. One person was saying to me something about men have feminine energy and women have masculine energy and all. And I said, well, yeah, I agree with that, because you're talking about feminine or masculine energy. It's not a sexual orientation necessarily. But one thing is for certain. God made man and woman, which means that the dominant energy in a man should be masculine. The dominant energy in a woman, especially in terms of a relationship, should be feminine. And the reason relationships are flunking is because masculine energy is not being supported and feminine energy is not being supported. We're showing up as feminine men and masculine women, and the chemistry is off. You see, the thing that breeds attraction is not necessarily the looks, because there are people that can testify. They got people that looked amazing. It's because attraction is not really based in looks. Now, that appeals to you and it may draw you in, but it ain't gonna keep you. The thing that keeps a woman is when a man has consistently a dominant masculine energy. The thing that keeps a man is when a woman has consistently a dominant feminine energy. Failure to support masculine and feminine energy refers to a lack of acknowledgement and respect for the unique qualities and strengths that both genders bring to a relationship. See, now we're in the age of feminism where we got to skate around what a man's role is versus what a woman's role is, which is very sad, because I think that there are some definite and specific roles. Now, some going to say, oh, that's old fogey. Well, Teach his own, you know, it works for me. And what has happened is, with this line of thought, women have become more masculine, men have become more feminine, women trying to figure out why aren't they attracted to men anymore, or for the long term, and men are trying to figure out, you know, why are women turning them off? Well, women are turning you off because you're feminine and they're masculine. Men are turning you off because you're masculine and the men are feminine. If we can swap mindsets, and if we can go back to where men are masculine, men have a desire to lead, men have the get up and go, the initiative, take the initiative, men want to be the earners. It's amazing to me how today we have women that, you know, are boss chicks, and they're building empires, and they're taking care of their children, they're taking care of their families, and they're taking care of staff. We got men that's talking 50-50. Don't even have enough self-confidence to say, I'm gonna be 100% earner at a certain point. I may not be there now, but I'm gonna be. That's a lack of masculine energy. And you want a woman to be attracted to that. How can a woman believe you can protect her when you don't believe in yourself enough to believe that you can go and earn enough to pay the bills? That's why your relationship is failing. That's why your woman cheating on you. There's a lack of masculine energy in you. Oh, I didn't mean to go there. I didn't mean to go there. But I ain't sad I said it. That's why you can't keep a man. There's too much masculine energy in you. Too much feminine energy in him. Too much masculine energy in you. Y'all sit there trying to figure out why we ain't attracted to one another no more. That's the woman talking. He think, I don't know. He's like a little woman while you like a man. It's the revenge of the body snatchers. Bible says in Genesis 1:27, so God created man in his own image. The image of God created him, male and female created he them. And with the male and the female comes dominant energy. And you fooling yourself as a woman if you think you're going to take a little feminine man and you're going to be attracted to that for the rest of your life. You are fooling yourself. You fooling yourself. Oh my God, I've gotten into enough trouble. Let me hurry up and get out of this. Here's what should happen. Partners should recognize and honor each other or each other's unique qualities. Communicate openly about your needs and work together to create a balanced and supportive dynamic within the relationship. What do you need your man to do? How do you need your man to show up as a man? You got to tell him that. Now, I need you to take initiative. You know, I need you to take initiative. I need you to lead. What does that mean? What does that look like? See, a feminine woman wants a man to lead. Masculine women don't necessarily want a man to lead, but then they're trying to figure out why they're frustrated with the man they got. It's because for you to be fulfilled in a relationship, you got to have a man that's masculine and will lead, because your dominant energy is feminine. And though you bossing up now, there will probably come a time when you ain't gonna feel like bossing up, and you're gonna need a man that will protect and provide. But when you've raised up your man like you raised up your son, don't be surprised that he functions like a son the rest of y'all's days. And that's why relationships, in my opinion, are not working. I know I'm gonna get some emails on this one. It's all right though. Won't be the last time. Won't be the first time. Won't be the last. Listen, I need you to go to my website, rcblakes.com. Sign up for my mailing list. Check out all of my online programs. In particularly, check out the Mordecai Mission, which is where it's 12 sessions where I'm mentoring women. This is for women. I'm mentoring women like Mordecai in the Bible mentored Esther. I'm mentoring women through 3 phases. Inner healing. We deal with all of the things that have broken the spirit of a woman. Inner healing. Self-discovery, where you really lose the adopted identity that your trauma or the world has put on you. And then we deal with inner healing, self-discovery. 3rd phase is self-development. Four sessions are dedicated to each section. And when I do Mordecai Mission live by Zoom, that's a 12-week process. But I've taken all of the information that the ladies get in Mordecai Mission in the live version, and I've put it on the digital platform. You got to be ready to make an investment in yourself to be the best version of yourself. And so Mordecai Mission is sitting there waiting on you if you're ready to go to that level. Now, while you're there, check out all of the other online programs as well. Also, while you're there, make certain that you go and see the queue over there. I need you to make certain you go and sign up for Queenology. That's the queue for Queenology right there. Go and sign up for Queenology. That's register for Queenology. That's happening August, I think it's 23rd. I don't know. I don't remember the dates. August 23rd through the 25th in Atlanta, Georgia. The Whitley Hotel is going to be the host hotel for Queenology 2024. It's going to be phenomenal. If you desire to be a part of the Royal Court, the VIP experience, I would suggest to you that you probably secure that spot immediately, because the VIP spots are going rather quickly. And the beauty is they've set up on the website payment plans for you that you don't have to pay it all at one time. And of course, the Saturday brunch and intensive with Lisa and I, culminating the event with an all-white party with Dave Hollister singing the Queenology theme song, She. It's going to be phenomenal. One for the books. And, you know, I do these things as the Spirit of God really leads me, so I'm not necessarily certain that we're going to do it in 2025, but we are doing it in 2024. And so, hey, you know, if it's something you desire to be a part of, you need to go and do that now. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you that are joining Lisa and I in Egypt in June of 2024. Man, that's going to be here like the blinking of an eye. June of 2024, we're going to meet many of you in Egypt. It'll be my first time there, and we'll have that experience together. I'm excited about that. Thanks to all of you who have sown into our lives. Lisa and I love you with all of our hearts. We really, really appreciate you. Would not take anything in the world for our community. We love you. Now listen, if you need counseling, you know, there's some of you who say, well, you know, I don't want to go to anybody's office. I'd rather sit at my home and talk to somebody on the phone or talk to somebody on the computer. That's the beauty of BetterHelp counseling. Lisa and I are not counselors. And I know you guys would love for us to counsel you, but, you know, I'd like for people to do what they do. I'm not a counselor. And so BetterHelp counseling is a relationship that has proven to be very, very beneficial and helpful to me in what I do, because many of you, my community, have used BetterHelp and you've been helped and empowered by their services. So if you think counseling is something that you need for whatever reason, look in the description, look for the link BetterHelp Counseling, and if you engage that link and if you use BetterHelp, it will afford you 10% off of the cost of their counseling. And because I'm recommending them, they will in turn make a deposit into RC Blakes Ministries. So don't forget that. If you ever need counseling, always come back to any one of my videos and look in the description and search for the BetterHelp link. And you know, more power to you. God's going to do new things in your life. I believe complete and total freedom, emotionally and otherwise, is your portion. Now, I think I'm done. Don't forget to go by Amazon, pick up all of my books. my latest book, Queenology, Father-Daughter Talk. Man, check out all of my books on Amazon. Pick them up in the physical sense, the electronic version, the audio version, Soul Ties. Go and check that out. It will bless you. I love you. You are on top. You're going higher. God has more in store for you. So you know what? I'm going to say to you like I always do. We will see you at the top, right? And while we're talking about at the top, go to rcblakesstore.com and you can check out our latest gear, On Top and Going Higher. You've been seeing me wear my On Top Going Higher hoodies and what have you. All of that is right there on the website, rcblakesstore.com. Queenology, you need to register for Queenology. It's at queenology.net. Queenology.net. Hey man, it's been a joy. I love you. Hope I didn't get into too much trouble. If I did, it's good trouble. I want you to have an amazing night, amazing day, depending on what part of the world you're in. And just know that Lisa and I love you. God bless you. Until next time.
We here at RC Blakes Ministries want to thank you for spending this time with us today. RC and Lisa are always honored to have you with us. Don't forget to reach out to us by visiting our website at www.rcblakes.com. While you're there, you may join our mailing list and receive a free download of The Laws of Manifesting Your Vision by RC Blakes. Also look at all of the online programs by RC. You may find all books written by RC and Lisa. Once again, all of us here at RC Blakes Ministries want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And as we always say, see you at the top.